What's up, guys? My name is Jerry, and today's video is going to be on the Miami Heat, and we're going to be talking about why they're still the best team in the Eastern Conference. And we're going to jump right into the video. And looking at the Miami Heat so far this season, they have a record of 36-20. They're currently on a 4-game winning streak, and they're sitting at number 1 in the Eastern Conference. And as you guys know, we're coming fresh off the NBA trade deadline, and a couple of the Miami Heat competitors, or their top competitors, were very active at the deadline yesterday. And in this video, we're going to be talking about, despite the moves that those teams made, I still think that the Miami Heat are, I still think they're the best team in the Eastern Conference. And we're going to start with with the Bucks, and we're not going to go deeply into these trades, what they gave up and, how they made it, how they made the salary cap fit. Just going to be talking about, the key addition that these teams made. And the Milwaukee Bucks, they acquired Serge Ibaka, and, I don't know how much better that's going to make them because, Serge Ibaka, he's been with the Clippers for like, 1.5 seasons maybe, and we haven't seen too much, productivity out of him. And even if he did, Serge Ibaka can come in and be a solid role player. I still don't think that's enough to push them over the Miami Heat. And then, really the three teams that made a move yesterday that are threats to the Miami Heat are the Bucks, and then the Philly and Brooklyn trade. And I'm gonna tell you why the Philly and Brooklyn trade doesn't, neither one of those teams are still better than Miami. With the Brooklyn Nets, they still have a bunch of question marks they have to fill. Like, is Ben Simmons, is that a place that he's gonna be happy playing basketball? And then I know it said, he said he changed his vaccination status, but nobody knows if he's fully vaccinated yet. And you guys know you cannot play home games in Brooklyn if you're not vaxxed. And then, still another question mark, Kyrie Irving, same situation with him. He can't play at home games for the Brooklyn Nets either. And then also, Kevin Durant, how healthy is he going to be going into the playoffs with his MCL sprain? That's not an injury, that you play around with. So the Brooklyn Nets have they have a bunch of question marks to fill. And they did get some solid pickups from the Philadelphia 76ers, getting Andre Drummond and Seth Curry. Those are huge additions. And then on the flip side of that trade, you got the 76ers getting, James Harden. And I feel like they gave up, they got a superstar, but they gave up, two of their players that made them be able, that were making them be able to be competitive without Ben Simmons. They gave up Seth Curry, and Seth Curry is so underrated. He's averaging, I think he's having a 50-40-90 season, averaging 16, 17 points per game, 4 or 5 assists, 4 or 5 rebounds, just a very solid player. And I think he's going to be really mixed in Philly. And then with James Harden, I don't know, he doesn't look, since the refs, or since the NBA have changed the foul call rule, the James Harden just haven't looked like that same dangerous player that he looked like, a few years ago. So, those are some things to consider, and I just think it's a bunch of question marks, for those two teams I just named. And then with the Miami Heat, the Miami Heat really have no question mark, no holes to fill. Like, if this team goes into the playoffs fully healthy, I think they're the best team and in the Eastern Conference. And I'm going to tell you guys why, of course. Number one, they have probably the best coach in the NBA, Eric Spoelstra. He's going to be coaching the East All-Star, the East All-Stars this season, and he just got voted, a top 15 coach of all time. So Eric Spoelstra is really that guy. And something that the Miami Heat has showed me this season is that they can get through adversity, and they can learn how to, they know how to persevere, and they know how to win, with what they have. I saw a stat that said the Miami Heat, their big three, Kyle Lowry, Bam Adebayo, and Jimmy Butler, they've missed a combined 56 games. And for a team to not have, those type of guys, Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler, and Bam Adebayo for 56 games combined, that's crazy. And for this team to be sitting at number 1 in the Eastern Conference right now, 2 games ahead of the Chicago Bulls, that's really impressive. And, that's what really make this Miami Heat team so dangerous. Their depth, so many so many so many of their players are, they've been unexpected players. Like three of their key role players, Caleb Martin, Max Strus, and Gabe Vincent. Those guys were, formerly two-way players. Like, two-way players is like when when you play, you get, basically you're in the G League team. If the team needs you, if it's injury or COVID or something, you get called up from the G League and you will play on the NBA. Or if you plan, if you're not playing good enough in the NBA, they send you down to the G League for a while to kind of get your confidence back. And those three guys for the Miami Heat have turned into some of their solid, some of their solid role players, and one of the biggest reasons why, the Miami Heat has been able to stay afloat, and not only stay afloat, but stay ahead of their competition, for this season. And, my laptop died, so I have to write down these stats on this paper. But, I had a graphic on the screen, but, I thought these stats were very, very crazy to me. The Miami Heat are 8-1 when Gabe Vincent scores 15 or more points. They're 8-1 when he scores 15 or more points. The Miami Heat are 12-3 when Caleb Martin grabs at least 5 rebounds, and then they're 6-0 when Dwayne Desmond scores at least 12 points. Not Dwayne Desmond, but Dwayne Dedman. And then they're 10-4 when Yurt 7. I said 7 this time. I know, a lot of you guys be getting on me in the comments when I say Yurt Steven, but it's Yurt 7. When he grabs at least 10 rebounds, they're 10-4. So, the Miami Heat, their role players contribute so much to them winning games. And, that's really, really impressive to me. And then, not only that, I didn't even talk, I talked about how Adebayo, Jimmy, and Kyle Lowry has missed games this season, but so has PJ Tucker and Tyler Hero. Those guys have been out, for a decent amount of time too. And this Miami Heat team is still been, they've still been able to get it done. And what's the most scariest and the most key part about this Miami Heat team? They're about to get, they get the All-Star break. That's going to be much needed for this team to get this team fully healthy and fully ready. And then when they come back from the All-Star break, they got a big key stretch of home games. And, I feel like that right there, they're going to take off even more. And I believe right now, they're going to coast to the number one seed in the Eastern Conference. And to me, they're the team to beat. And, they're just going to look, they're going to look really impressive when they get everybody fully healthy. Like, just thinking about all these players that they have, man, like, Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler, Bam, PJ Tucker, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, Victor Oladipo. And then I haven't even gotten to the unsung heroes like Gabe Vincent and Max Strus and Caleb Martin, Dwayne Dedman, Yurt 7, all these guys, literally the Miami Heat might be the only team in the NBA that's 12, they're 12 deep. They have 12 players that can, not only can they play, but, most of these guys can be starters on other teams. And, just a disclaimer, I am not a Miami Heat fan. I'm a fan of the game of basketball. So, when I recognize greatness and I see greatness, I gotta talk about it. But, my personal team is the Detroit Pistons, and, hopefully in about, 2 or 3 years, we'll be playing the Miami Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals or something like that. But I gotta manifest it, and I gotta be optimistic. But that's gonna be it for this video, and that's why I feel like the Miami Heat is still the best team in the Eastern Conference, because their top competitors have too many questions and too many holes to fill. So if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment down below if you think the Miami Heat is still the best team in the Eastern Conference, and then subscribe for more weekly content. We do this all the time. And that's curtains.